What's up, everybody? Here we are, the after show, but later. Doug, I don't know. Do I still have it on here? Let me see. I wonder if I have it. No, I don't. Do I? No, that was cheer music.
Storm cheer all star.
Oh shit! No, never mind. No, I was looking for something. So, okay, anyway, I couldn't find it. Anyway, what's up, everybody? It's the after show, but later. It's your boys D and Luis Cortez Jr. We are here for episode number 333. We are excited. He's dodgered out. You know, he always brings a theme. Dog, I've loved red and black since I was a kid. So when I saw this corn shirt, I had to channel my inner Luis, and I had to pick up this corn shirt. Dog, red and black are like my favorite. I loved pink and black when I was a kid because of Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation, Owen, all them, you know, whatever. But black and red, as soon as Kane came out, dog, I was like, black and red's my shit. So black and red, that's why I got my black and red here. Oh, you did it. You, dog, I just saw the flames go up behind you when you did that. Oh, damn. So,
Hey, is this some Freaky Friday shit or what? Did we switch places here or what?
yeah, right. Usually I got my Lakers gear and you got your rock shit. What up,
Yeah.
Andrew? Yeah. So I was just saying I'm channeling my inner Luis right here. But man, so much to get to. I had a bunch of screens that I was trying to squeeze in right here, right before we got started. Didn't get them in, but it's okay because you know why? I got them all right here. All the screens I need are right here. But yeah, man, I have a lot of things. Luis, you always have adventures, you know, and I like catching up with you because you always have fun things. So I know it wasn't your birthday, but I know you got some travels coming up. So what has happened this last week since the last time we seen you?
Yeah, man, it was kind of quick. I mean, last time we chat, I was in the beautiful state of Arizona. Where in the world is Luis Carmen San Diego? I was in Safford, Arizona. I
Yeah.
didn't want to let that go out, but then I was at Morenci doing some work, and yeah, but now I'm back home, and it was kind of quick, bro. I was out there. I work as a contractor on the mine, so 12. We worked a couple 18-hour days, and then next thing you know it was Friday, and next thing you know it was a weekend. So it went by quick, bro, and just came home Friday and just a little smoked the tri-tip, drank some Don Julio, and just trying to chill out. Yeah, I got some vacation coming up here, so. I think I said it a couple weeks ago, but I'm flying to Europe Thursday.
She.
So just trying to not trying to get too crazy. Don't want to get sick or like a chorro or anything. So I'm just
Yeah.
trying to keep it chill, you know what I mean? And get ready for the long flight. So if anything, just getting ready, bro, like doing laundry and packing and organizing all my trinkets to make sure I got everything I got to go. But today, you already know Dodgers, we're in baseball season, and I know we're talking graffiti, but you can't even tell, bro. But my background here is graffiti. It looks so good that it looks like a
It's
picture,
cool.
right?
It does look like a picture, but the thing that throws it off or makes me know that it's graffiti is I see the lights and the skyline behind it. So
Right.
yeah, so that's a wall. That's a
It
mural
is.
that you know.
It's in
So
Cali, actually.
yeah, that's super dope. We had one that was really dope that somebody had painted on the side of a barber shop, and it was Kobe. It was bad, dog. But yeah, I mean, a lot of we're a lot of we have a lot of transplants here in Arizona, especially like me. I got a lot of family in Cali, so we have a lot of Lakers fans, a lot of Dodgers fans here. So yeah, man, you see those murals popping up around here too. But you said it's gonna be a long flight, right? How long is the flight?
The flight there. So I fly from here to Chicago and then from Chicago to basically Paris.
The
I
Chicano in
think it's
Chicago?
yeah, it's 10 hours. I think is what it is.
Yeah. I think the most
It's
I've
not
ever
that
flown
bad.
is like seven, maybe six or seven, six, seven. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
I'm not that bougie, so I'm not going first class. And then I have flown first class. So if you never have
I never
and
have.
you do, bro, you get spoiled. And like, I used to work international for the kind of work I do. And at the time, the company used to pay for it because basically someone else was paying for it.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't like we were paying for it. So, but man, bro, once you get spoiled like that, dude. I don't know if you can go back, but I mean, I can't afford it, but I'm like, "Damn, that's just crazy, bro. It's like 5,000 bucks. And I'm like, I can buy like three, four tickets there and back with that price. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's not that bad. And if you do it right, and like, I got my little compression socks and shoes and my little pillows. I got a back pillow, I got a neck pillow, I got a pillow I sit on. Like, I travel for work and
You have a suitcase just for your
leisure a lot.
pillows.
Yeah, bro, like I'm legit, I feel like I got it. And Andrew Sims says they're ass. Good thing for me. He says those flights are ass, and they are, bro. But if you guys ever see me or meet me, I got a good set of nalgas on me. So like, thank you, Ana Gloria, as my mom. So it helps for sure with the cushion, and then I had a little bit of points, so I upgraded to like coach, the front of the coach. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
whatever,
like the
there's
coach
extra
comfort,
leg room.
comfort
Yeah,
plus or
whatever.
whatever the hell it is.
A ver qué pedo. We'll see. But looking forward to it, bro. Be gone for a little bit and just trying to get away for a little bit. This is kind of basically my birthday trip
Yeah.
because I didn't really do too much for my birthday. So just looking forward to hanging out and having a good time. And I'll have plenty of stories and some pictures to share with her when I come back and I'll work on my French. You know what I mean?
I have actually a couple of stories that I'm gonna hold off until because I'm hoping Magical Mexican joins us later, but there's a lot I want to get to, and he's actually involved in a few of the stories that I want to tell. But man, so we had the last week of CNR. They hit their 1,000th episode. They, we'll probably get into a little video in a little bit. There's been a lot going on. It was funny because when I was setting up, I think I subconsciously was like, I was going, whatever, right? So, dog, so we do this thing, right? And we haven't done it in a minute, me and my daughter, where I'm driving, and you know how like you'll do like I don't drive like a race car and shit, so I have to make the sounds myself. So like when I'm going fast, I'm like, right? So we started this thing a long time ago, and I'll go, Ben, Ben, like I'm switching gears, and then I go, Ben. So, dog, we haven't done this in a minute, but I was like, I wonder if my daughter will still like remember and get it. And then I stopped and I pointed at her. She goes, Emmy. So we do Ben and Emmy, dog. So I'm like, Ben, and switching the gears, and then Emmy is like we're pulling the e-brake and just like spinning out. So it's like Ben, Ben, Emmy. So a little shout out to the Davis kids.
For
um,
sure.
what did Andrew say? The worst was when we went to Dubai. 13 hours. Ooh, dog. You know what? I wouldn't go to Dubai only because, dog, I'm a moron. So I don't know where's war and shit happening, right? So my ass would be like, oh, we're flying into Iran, $13, dog? Hell yeah, And I would be getting there and be like, bing, boom, 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 boom. So I don't travel outside of the United States, because unless I'm going over the border to Mexico to get medicine or something, but because, dog, I'm not well versed in the world like that, dog. I'm gonna end up in some third world country, dog. They're gonna chop off my hand when I accidentally forget to pay for some M&Ms. I can't be doing that, dog. So Dubai, I commend you for doing that. For you going to Europe, dog, I don't know, dog. I mean, I hear a lot of it. They have Sharia law, which I'm not too fond of. So more power to you on your guys' trips. But, dog, I got to get a little more educated before I take those. But is there anything, Doug, where you wanted to get started? If not, I have plenty of thoughts as always, Doug.
No pasa nada, homie. Don't worry about it. But hey, man, you gotta live a little bit. You know what I mean? Hopefully, Andrew's trip was vacation and not work. And Dubai is on my radar to go to. But yeah, I think it's a little hot right now down there as far as trying to visit. But you never know. Fuck, and that shit happen anywhere, bro. I mean, not war, I guess, but crazy shit happening no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, wherever you want to get started, but. Yeah, just to touch on the 1,000 episode of Patreon, just I guess congratulations. I know the boys tend to watch, at least Steve does. So,
Not
a
tonight,
shout
dog.
out.
He's at Des Rocks.
I know for sure, but at least he'll see the future dude later. I mean, congratulations. That's quite the achievement. I mean, especially how they got here. You know what I mean? I remember,
Yeah.
I think a lot of us too who've been around how it ended, and then even how it started. Like they were still trying to figure out like, are we gonna do it on YouTube, on TikTok? Like they didn't
Yeah.
even know all that, I guess, because it was so kind of crazy. And they mentioned it in today's show. They basically ended on Thursday or whatever on the last shit, and then like, hey, we're on Monday right here,
Yeah.
and so it was easy transition, and I think there was a lot of figuring out. But just want to commend them. It shows for anyone out there, hey man, no matter what adversity and shit happens, if you keep your head down, keep working at it, good shit happens, and like it or not, 1,000 episodes. It's fucking legit, you know what I mean? So kudos to them, and for those of us who've been through even before that, but just to see the growth of the show, I think it's hilarious. Like when their little montages they posted from like Spot's couch and like how the shit's evolved and how it's not. And I guess just to put the cherry on that, 1,000 episodes later, and we still don't have a background. But whatever, that I don't think that's gonna change.
Doug, you know what though? I am excited that they're. I mean, I'll play the little montage that they had, but I am excited that that they are going to incorporate the green screen into their new digs that they're going to have, because I'm like, it just brings so much more life into what could be a very dull background or whatever, and it just I feel like their brown background that they had, Doug, was it was I don't want to say it was boring, but Doug, it kind of even clashed with like their skin tone. Like for it was about Steve's color, right? So baby Steve looked like he was eyes floating at some points, and then it varied in the shades of brown. So even sometimes Rich would kind of it just, to me, it wasn't a good contrast between like skin tone and that brown that they had, So I'm excited for the green screen that they're going to incorporate. And Doug, they got to save them some money, right? If they're going to be using that much space as like a green screen, it's got to have save them some kind of money or whatever, because they don't have to build out that part. But I'm kidding. It's going to be an entire build. So, but
You, you know what's crazy on that too? It's like 1,000 episodes later, and there's still no more. There's still no Mark in Colorado, and I think anyone who's joined, let's say Patreon day one and ahead and weren't there before,
mhm.
they'll never know that, right? Like I think they've talked about it here and there, but anyone before then knows him from calling in, knows him from all the interactions, and I don't know what, I think he was old school, whatever. I'm not sure why he fell off the wagon there, but
Yeah,
he used to be. I would think of like I remember he was like part of the show, kind of like you could
he
always
was
expect, like, hey
self-centered.
guys, like
Yeah,
he would always call in. So I think it's another chapter, another layer, like the Melody thing. A lot of us know like, oh, were you before Melody was
yeah.
there or when? I think Mark in Colorado is another one of those. Like if you know, you know. If not,
I,
then that
and
fool's
I'm a little
gone.
envious of some of the people that are like, "Oh, you remember Nervous Matt? He used to call in, or whatever these other ones are." That I'm like, "Ah, dog, that was BD. That was before Daniel." Like so when I hear certain things where they're like, "You remember this person or that person," and I'm like I remember. Do you remember Cunty Ramirez or no?
Nah, I can't
So
say that.
so
I
Cunty
can.
Ramirez was on the forum. So before they had the Carl
Mm.
page, they had the forum. And Cunty Ramirez, dog, I'll die not knowing how this dude looked. His picture on the forum was the Grinch. So it was the Grinch wearing a Santa outfit and holding like a bag. So forever, Cunty Ramirez will be Doug, and that's somebody who used to chime in. And Doug, his name was Cunty Ramirez, but he was just like another Carl, right? He would whatever. It's not like he was Cunty because that was his name. And so those kind of things where I'm like, oh man, some people don't know that part, or like Fresh D. Fresh D would was on the forum, and I don't see him too much on the Carl page, even though I do know that he is part of it. It's just cool to see that, and you're like, man, some of those I wish I could have some of those memories like people have that are just like the OGs.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is kind of crazy,
and did
bro.
you see what Andrew said? He said, Mark's probably too cheap to pay for Patreon. Could be.
I remember, and it's all hoopla because you never fucking know anymore. But I swear, like there was a thread about him one time, and I want to say like people even offered like they were like, hey, we'll pay your for the next month or something. You know what I mean? I think he was just he was kind of old school, and I just think he didn't like want to like do the app and do all compared to Sirius. I think he used to call in from his truck or car, or whatever, but just turn
Yeah.
it on, listen to it, right? So I think when it went to like future style and more new school, I think he was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do all that. I want to say he did interact here and there, like he called at the beginning. I would have to go in the CNR
Yeah, there
archives
were
and
a few episodes I remember him chiming in and stuff. So I don't know if maybe they were like the free episodes that just happened to be on YouTube and he saw them. But I do remember him a couple of times, and I think that when he did listen, he called in a couple of times.
yeah, I do remember there was some interactions early on for sure. I think it's been a while, but I honestly thought just going back in the history and stuff, I would expect he would have been at the meetup last year. You know what I mean? And he didn't even make it to that, so
Yeah.
whatever happened there, but that would have been.
Last year, dog. Can you believe it's already been like however many 9, 10 months or whatever? Like it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. But you know what? I do have a story from the Covino and Rich, get together from last year. What up, Lisa? What up, Double M? So I have a story. I don't think I told it. I might have told it here, but I was just thinking about it the other day when I was thinking about. I think it might have been the little montage that they put together because a lot of it was things from the CRC, right? Some clips or whatever. As far as like, oh no, it's their Marvel intro where they
Mhm.
have like clips from the CRC and they have different things. And I was just thinking, dog. I was like, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but I I guess I reintroduced myself to somebody that I had met before, and they were kind of a. I'll be honest. Where's my? Do I have a? They were kind of a about it. They were like, so Doug, you met me at the CRC, and Lisa's here. She met me. Andrew, we know we got to meet in person. So I'm just at those meetups, Doug. I'm just excited to be there, dog. I'm just like I feel like a lot of people are, right? Walking around, talking to people. I still remember you walking in with beer to Bree and Wes's house, and like I just feel like everybody brings a cool vibe. Well, there was one dude where I introduced myself. I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? My name's Daniel, this and this, and he goes, yeah, I know. We met in Tempe, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, man. Well, you have a good day. I was just like, I just feel like you could have been like, oh yeah, man, I remember you. We met in Arizona, whatever. That's one way to go about it. But he was kind of like, you're invading my space type of thing, you know? And so
Damn.
now when I see him posting on the Carl page and shit, and like you see people like, not that I'm hating or whatever, but if you see them going through things, you're kind of like, I don't give as much of a fuck about, as if it was somebody like you and you're like, hey, this just happened or, whatever, or, I have the flu or whatever. I'm like, cool, good for you, you know? So it's funny when I see, and that's just my interaction with him. And I was like, dog, I remember people pretty well. I'm a pretty good with faces to names and all that. So I don't remember meeting him in Tempe. So I'm like, I don't even think I did, to be honest. But anyway, that was my story for that, Carl. So it narrows it down, right? There were a couple of people that were there that were super dope, man. So all the AZ people that I did meet that I have met and have had a really good time with. Shout out to all of you guys. But let's see. Andrew says I met some people at the CRC that I probably won't remember if I see them again. That's my biggest fear. Is that especially like Luis, like you're on here, every week now, and we've been doing it together for months now. So I feel like people see us, and it's a little easier to recognize us because, especially, I'm not saying like we're like the show, but just by me posting on the Carl page, like the show and stuff, right? So you kind of can't help but scrolling, you see our faces or whatever. And just like today, Covino gave us a nice shout out. He was like, check out the after show, but later. He was like, all the support they give us. And Doug, like all of that is super cool. But I feel like when I met Andrew Sims, I was like, "Oh, what's up, Andrew?" Right? And he was like, "Oh, dude." He was like, "I was kind of surprised that you recognized me so fast." And I was just like, "Oh, come on, you're the homie, right?" And but it's easier for people that, especially listeners of ours that have been listening and watching the show for years at this point. They see us and like, "Oh yeah, that's them," and we might be like, oh, I think that's Christina V, or you know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest thing, dog, is I never want to not recognize somebody that I feel like I had an interaction with or whatever, or like a kind of a moment we got to know each other, and then I see them and I'm like, maybe that's where that dude was, where maybe he thought we had like a real connection, and then I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. He's like, I can't believe this guy. I thought we were friends, you know? It could be that too. So Wes thought he had met me before. You know what? That happened a lot, Andrew. So don't even trip about that. When I was at Wes's house, there were people that were there that were like, Wes. I think Wes, Doug, Wes might that just might be his thing that he says to people. Because I remember at his house him telling people like, I thought I met you before. Haven't I met you before? So maybe that's just Wes's line to get to have an in with people, right? Hey, I thought I met you before, right? No, okay, cool. So I don't know. Um,
Yo, you know what's funny about like the CNR and just that little story you told? Did you see Paul or Paul was asking or
Dimitri?
who's this guy in the in the video?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So did he tell you or did you hear any of the backstory or what
No,
that was all
so
about?
okay. So what happened was he had commented on something and Double M says, I keep waiting to see Luis out in the street in Vegas. So you never know, dog. See, you never know. She might even have seen you and been like, I don't want to come up to Luis, dog.
Nah,
That's
chillax.
Luis, you know?
If you see me, say what's up. Whatever. I'll buy you a
but
drink. Come say hello. I'm
but
friendly. It's all good. I'm not a
no, but
creepo.
for that story, Doug, I don't know the backstory. All I know is he commented and he's like, what's Luis's last name? So I tagged you and then he was like, I sent you a message or something. So that's all
Yeah.
I heard about it. So
So yeah. So
if it's share worthy, what's up?
yeah. For sure. So like and I'm the first one to admit this shit. And I know Covino and Rich have said this before. Like anytime they meet people, because they meet a lot of fucking people, they say like, "Oh, hey, nice to see you." Not like, "Hey, nice to meet you," or "Nice to see you again," whatever, because that's really neutral. It's not gonna make it sound like you forgot them. You're not gonna really make it sound like you're re-meeting them. It's just, "Hey, man, nice to see you." Like that doesn't paint the picture one way or another, and that way, hopefully, no one's feelings get hurt. But even that weekend, bro, like I mean, I was drinking, bro, having a good time, doing all kinds of shit. So like, I meet people. I'm terrible with names. You can ask people close to me. My brain works in mysterious ways. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're the fool that whatever." Like, oh, you're the girl that likes the Chiefs or so I just know I connect things in different ways to remember, not necessarily names, but I can remember faces. Be like, hey, you know that fool? Be like, nah, like what does he look like? And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I do know him. Anyway, so I was going around that weekend just like, you were saying what's up to people who look approachable or willing to chat or whatever. And when we were at the sports book at the Circa,
Hmm.
he was sitting. They had just rolled out the food because I don't know if you remember, there was like a big ass line. People were waiting for
I
the
didn't even
food to get.
eat there. I paid for the meal and all that, dog, to be there, and I ended up not eating. I was like, fuck that, dog. That was too big of a line.
Yeah, and like so I was there and then I was kind of I guess somehow got in the line and then I was like, oh whatever, I'll get some food. And it was packed, like it was the way it's set up was terrible. Like it was in a corner and you had to get
Yeah, it
around
was
and then
weak.
like it was like tight to get by and then but they had that full like bar that was facing the screen and I seen some food right there and I'm like, I think I know this food. And it was Paul and he was just mowing down and,
Yeah.
and like I needed somewhere to sit. I had like my hands full and I'm like, hey bro, like do you mind if I sit right here? He's like, yeah man, sit down. And he was like in the middle of eating and he's like I asked something about like, hey, I'm gonna go get a beer. You want one? And he was like, if I remember correctly, those things were hot. I think everyone said that at the time. The spicy chicken sandwiches were really kind of
Yeah.
spicy. And he was like, if you guys don't know him, he's pretty like light skinned, and he was like red and kind of sweaty. And I was gonna get a beer because I had my hands
He's
full
so
of food. And
white
I'm
and
like,
his hair so blonde, you kind of can't tell where his forehead stops and his hair starts. Or, like it just, yeah. So I'm sure he was red
and
as a
so
tomato.
yeah, and because it was spicy, and he just probably wanted something to drink because I don't think he had a beer or he finished it. And I'm like, hey, bro, I'm gonna go get a beer. You want one? Like, watch my seat and my food real quick. He's like, yeah, man, whatever. He's like, oh, I'll spot you. And he's like, no, no. I'm like, don't trip, fool. Like, you're CNR. I got one. What's one beer?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
bought him a drink, and we shot the shit, and we just chatted for a little bit. I sat there for 20, 30 minutes while I ate, he ate, and that was it, bro. And like, we went on our ways, and I seen him here and there, whatever, and then. So that was really where the story ends. And I seen him again at the golf thing. He's famous for having being in the Vato picture, right?
Yeah.
That's where he got his nickname Paul. And so anyway, apparently then go fast forward to where you're at now. He sends me a DM. He's like, "Hey man, was that you at the CNR Saturday night overlooking the sports book while we were eating and you bought me a drink?" And I said, "Yeah, man, that was me. Cheers. Good to see you again with everybody." And he's like, "No way, man." He's like, "Finally, I thought I recognized your face on the TV/video." And I was like, "That's the guy." I asked around and he's like, "I asked around a couple times. I got a few wrong answers." So I'm sure he was going down the Carlos page and seeing kind of Vato fools, but hey, are you this guy? Are you this
Yeah.
guy? And thankfully no one said yes. And they all said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, he ended up finding me and he just said, man, I appreciate you, whatever. And just, wanted to say, shut up. And then, that he's gonna buy me a drink or whatever. I'm like, yeah, man, no worries. Next meetup,
That's so
beer on
cool.
you. But it was funny how he came to find me, and I guess he's been looking for me. And I was like, when he said that, I was like, did I step on your shoes, bro? Like, I
Yeah,
didn't hit,
yeah.
I didn't
First,
hit
let me know the
anybody. Like, I have
story.
my chick. Like, I wasn't like hitting on anyone or flirting with anything. Like I was like, hey, like what are you looking for, bro? Like do I owe you money or what's going on? He's like, nah, it was you. So it was cool, but just another story of the meetup and one of the many occasions.
Yeah, no, dog, it's so crazy that we're that far out. What is it? April, May, June. Oh, damn, we're like almost 10 months from the CRC, which is crazy, man. And again, Andrew Sim says Powell is a good dude. Yeah, man, he was one of the people, 100%, dog, that like would make time like to talk and just like very, I don't want to say vulnerable in a bad way, but very like he would tell you about his family and his kids and just like so cool, man. And you know, I understand not everybody is as open as that, but he was one of the people where I feel like, especially like a lot of people, I would say like 90% of the people there had the same vibe. We all know each other, right? We all love each other. And even if we don't, we all have the same common interest of the show. So it's like everybody's like chill and like even I remember Rich sat with me and this dude named Dan Snyder, and he was like, we were talking about, all three of us were talking about our kids. And it's just like you can all find common ground. We all know we're all semi I don't want to say good people, but we all know for the most part, the CNR listeners are a bunch of good people. So it's cool when you have somebody like that is just like, man, like Wes and Bree again, you freaking everybody that was just like super cool and down to earth. I saw Lisa and I remember one of the things I won't say right here, but that she asked me about. But she asked me about an awkward situation. She was like, "Yeah, how did that happen?" And I was just like, "Yeah, that's crazy." And then like, I know he gets a lot of hate, but freaking what's his name? Mauser. Mauser was super cool, man, and people can hate on him, but he was hate him or love him, dog. In person, him and his wife were, or not him and his wife. It was him. Was his wife there? I don't know. I'm not gonna lie and say
think so.
But I was thinking of Eddie's wife when I said that. But
Oh yeah.
Mauser, super cool, man. Super down to earth. It was awesome. So again, man, that was just super. And how do we get back here to the Carl conversation? The 1,000 episodes. So let's see if I can actually pull the thing that we wanted to play, which was, let's see, the little montage that they put together for the 1,000 episodes on Patreon.
It's our first show on Patreon! Yeah!
First show.
Yeah, it's always an awkward squad.
If I was like this,
Oh, remember Covino with his freaking nut outline when he was... They wrapped Covino in tape.
look how much strength you need though. So screen work.
And I think just that where they're wrapping him in tape, I think it was because they talked about like somebody got like kidnapped or something and they were wrapped in tape. And so I think their conversation was, oh, I would be able to defend that. So that's where that conversation came.
Viola!
And then for, I know, I don't think Double M listens to the show often, but that Viola was another one
God.
where Covino wanted to drop a voila, but he spelled Viola on like an Instagram post or something. So he was like, way to go, Viola. We wanted to put like voila. So that's kind of just trying to give a little context in case you missed some of these moments.
This shit was funny as fuck.
What's it called? A what? A villain quest? Villain quest? Villain quest. Villain? What is it? I can't say it.
Oh, he couldn't say. So for that one, I was even confused. Like, what the hell is he trying to say? Covino is trying to say the word ventriloquist. Let's go back to that real quick.
Shit was funny too.
What's it called? A what? A villain quest? Villain quest? Villain quest. A villain? What is it? I can't say it.
Somebody there, yo?
What's that noise? Hello!
Oh, so that one, I think, that one that they're showing now is where Tommy had thought he saw a ghost or something, because if you don't know, Covino's brother is like he does like real estate or something.
Appraisals, house
appraisals. So he went to this house and he could see from the roof or like the attic, it looked like there was a lady staring at him. So he took a picture. And so right here, they're playing out Tommy being like, is that you, yo?
He's got tears of blood. Oh, tears of blood. Ay, Dios mío.
So for that one, the Tears of Blood, Covino had his Enrique Iglesias mole or something removed, and then like a day later, as he was doing the show, it just started bleeding. So what I ended up doing was I put his picture on a santo, and then I had put it in a newspaper, and it said Steve el guapo más, or no, el hombre más guapo, and then like this and this and this. So I had put like a little story about why he was crying tears of blood.
We need to make a camo for like the one you showed me earlier with that picture of him in it.
Like this, dog.
Yeah, but put Steve with the tear.
Hey, when people tell me, Doug, whenever people tell me, you're not Mexican, you don't know Spanish, Doug, I got Santos right here for you. Telling me about I'm not Mexican, Doug.
It's a sign.
Lots of tears.
Probably ain't 'cause you're.
We're coming up on a good one. I can't wait to explain the next. You know which one I'm thinking of probably?
Oh, she threw a straw in his face.
So for the last
Here we go.
5 months, Kristen and I have been in an open relationship.
Their face, Doug. So this spot says for the last 5 months, him and his wife had been in an open relationship. And so they were like, what? And then if you're not a regular listener, it went from we've been in an open relationship to and he's also exploring dudes. And then they were like, yeah. If you watch back that episode, Rich kept looking at Covino because he wanted to see his expression. He was like, and then Covino was trying to keep like a straight face and like, I'm not judging. Stayed looking at Spot. And Rich, if you go back and watch that episode, I wonder if it's even in this clip. Let's pull it back a little bit.
Face.
So for the last 5 months, Kristen and I have been in an open relationship.
You think
Love
it's
it.
memorable when I say, yeah, guys, and don't forget to toss my salad.
The funniest thing about clips where Covino says, toss my salad and stands up and he's spreading his butt cheeks, the funniest part about that is that he is very conservative. He is very, Rich is the one that's a maniac and, you know, and whatever. Covino's a lot more conservative. Like, Rich will say like, well, I don't care if, you know, my kid ended up doing OnlyFans, you know, if it's a way to make money. And Covino's like, dude, are you crazy? Like, what's wrong with you? And so they have these conversations. So I think if you have a little context of who Covino is, when he does things like that are out of his comfort zone, you're like, oh man, it makes it extra funny to me.
We discussed it. Damien, did you just fart? This guy just farted. I'm gonna reach across the fucking table and punch you in the nose.
You want me to reach across the table and punch you in the nose? 1,000 episodes. Man, so thank you to Covino and Rich for providing us with so much fun. Even in that video, man. That video was so much fun to watch. So appreciate that, guys. What the hell am I doing? How do I minimize this?
You know what's funny? I'm not into Covino's sack or whatever, but I clearly remember that one where he was doing the weightlifting shit. And I know we've talked about it before. And I think Spot was even saying like he meant because I talked to him on the side that he was laughing about it. Because that was like right around Christmas, I remember. Because then like they Spot used that shit, and we've had this conversation. They put like big old ornaments
Oh,
up in
yeah,
the
yeah,
sack just to show it. But yeah, dude, it was hilarious. And those are all highlights. Fucking Rich farting, that shit was funny. And then he tries to deny it. And then I forgot what he said something about Sarah. And then that was the one where she threw the freaking straw in his face because he was saying like he was being a jerk about something. But man, so much shit happened, dude. And it's funny to see the evolution of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think someone mentioned of it today too. Is like I don't think they ever got Spot a couch.
Oh yeah, they had promised to get him a new couch. And Doug, you know, and I think part of this, if you haven't checked out Covino and Rich, for anybody that's listening, you can check them out. You don't have to go and subscribe to their Patreon. It'd be nice, but they have plenty of free episodes that are as long as the night is young or whatever. I forget. I see, Doug, when people say I'm not Mexican, I say shit like that. Oh yeah, you are. So you know, it's just like you can go and check out some full episodes that they have on their YouTube. So they're always about 2.5 hours. So check them out if you haven't, and then maybe one day it'll convince you to go and check out their Patreon and actually pay for it. But they have plenty of free episodes on there, so go check them out. Covino and Rich or patreon.com/Covino and Rich. And the reason why I say Covino, Covino, is because whenever I get the transcript from our episodes, it always says Cavino. So it'll be like, oh, we're talking Covino and Rich. Cavino. It's Covino. So if you're going to find them on Patreon, patreon.com/Covino and Rich. Some of the feedback that day Spot put up Instagram story, Rich's facial expressions. And you know what? That Instagram story, Andrew, I actually made for them. So what I did was I grabbed the clips from that episode and Spot was like, I have an announcement or whatever. And then I did it in fast motion where he's like, and then it goes to their expressions. And I sent it to Spot, and because at the time I was doing their TikTok account. So I was like, hey, do you dig this? Do you not? Whatever. And he was like, yeah, he liked it. So then he ended up putting it like on the Instagram story and all that. So I remember that video very well. Elisa says, I feel like when Steve does things like that, he's possessed. Whatever he's like spreading his cheeks and doing all that. Because that's not what happened to the Danny I met at the beach, or over the summer. Like, I don't know, baby. Maybe you might want to put out a missing person ad. I think that's where it kind of comes from, right? But I agree, Lisa. So so many good things that have happened in the however many years they've been on Patreon now, since 2021, March 2021. So they just hit their 5 years. They're going on 5 years in 1 month. So many cool things, man. And they talked about today how we always say we're grateful for, we've grown up with them. We've done so many things. They've gotten us through hard times. We have a family member pass or something, and they provide some laughs during the day. But they actually turned the table and they said during that time when SiriusXM basically gave them an offer, not that they couldn't refuse, they gave them an offer that they couldn't accept, right? So they were like, what are we going to do now? And they said, just like that, Monday, they did their show on Friday on SiriusXM. Monday, they were on Patreon, and so many people came, subscribed, and they were like, all right, we guess we can do this. We can actually do this on our own. So they were telling us how grateful they were for all of us. And yeah, man, it's just so cool. So cool. We just have so much love for them. And then like today, Andrew Sims had texted me when Covino was like, listen to the after show. They give us a lot of support. They do all that good stuff. And I was like, that's why I'll always support Covino, the Covino and Rich show. Is things like that. You're not going to, and I've said it a million times, you're not going to get that from Joe Rogan, right? You're not going to get that from Theo Vaughn, even though Theo is pretty good at responding to people and stuff. So, but as far as like people, they're never going to have the connection like you have with Covino and Rich. So I'm going to stop swinging from their nuts because I don't like to. I'm like, I don't need to be doing that all night. So anything else, Luis, that you have?
You know what's crazy on that, and this is just my interpretation of it. I would think at the time maybe like Jason Ellis was huge. I think maybe even bigger than these guys were. Like the money he was generating and the money they were paying him and everything related to the show, and he had a community of people. But not like this, right? Because I mean, I think
No.
it's been talked about here recently, and like that fool's like off the grid now. Like to me, he seems, I don't want to say desperate, or I don't want to wish bad on anybody, but he fell from the heavens, dude. And I'm talking razor blades, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then these guys, I'm not saying they're better than ever, but they're thriving, and like they're all of us, because we have followed them and
Yeah.
supported them because of that interaction. Jason Ellis just, he leaned towards certain things and certain aspects of what he did, which made him popular and whatever. But I mean, it just goes to show, because when push came to shove with Jason Ellis, it didn't go so hot like it did for
No.
Covino Rich when he went on his own or did his own thing.
I think
To
he
the
might
point,
have started Patreon before them, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say he
It was
did.
right around the same time.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, selling insurance now and doing all this stuff, and it's sad, whatever. But I hope he's doing good too. He was a good dude, whatever. I supported his show too, but not as much as this, right? Because I remember interacting with that show and sending chats and doing that certain stuff, but you didn't get that feedback back like these guys do.
No.
And I know I want to challenge you guys out there because they talked about this a couple weeks, maybe last week, when Covino was talking smack to Mickey Mouse about. Everyone always hits him up saying, "Oh, I hit you up because every time I hit up Rich, he doesn't reply to me or whatever." So make sure you hit our bridge and make sure we can prove he's full of shit. At least I can't vouch that he's not, because every time I do hit him up, he does reply to me, or whenever I comment on his shit, he will reply. I don't know if it's just because it's me, but I know Covino will say, "No, you don't, bro." So let's make sure that Rich
You
is
know what? Let's see if I
holding
can
up
pull up
holding
my.
up his end of the bargain and not full of shit.
Look at my last text message to Rich Davis. I will put right here.
Does it even
So
was it even red?
so he was. They were talking about. They were talking about sequoias and I think like flowers and cactuses and all this whatever. And I told him I went to school with a girl named Sequoia. Right? I had put it in the chat, and then Rich was like, "Oh yeah, it wasn't Sequoia that black girl you went to school with, Covino?" And then they were joking about it. So I sent this to Rich. I texted it to him. It was from my yearbook. I can't, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
But it said her name, Sequoia, right? Didn't even like it. Didn't even, haha. Didn't even nothing. So there's a perfect example.
Want to know?
What-
Like
He
Covino
has
said, I think,
responded, and I've chatted with him before and through
Right.
text and everything too. But a few days before that, I had sent something, and he liked it and responded and whatever. But I'm just saying that's one example. If we're looking for one example, that was it. And I was showing it to right now to you, Luis, but the camera was on you, so nobody even saw that. But anyway,
Well,
just
I
know it
saw
was
it.
there. You know what though, and that's the thing is that one thing that I will say about I think something that Covino and Rich even taught me in doing the after show is build those and I've heard even like Gary Vee talk about it and different people like that is there's another dude I watch on YouTube, Sean Cannell, and he does a show called Think Media, a channel called Think Media, and he talks about like growing your presence and he's like make those connections, like make a genuine connection with like one person, right? When I saw Andrew Sims and he was like, "Oh, dude, I was tripping that you recognized me in person." Like I feel like that meant something to him. Not that I'm anybody, but the fact that he, like I said, he watches us all the time, but that shows him, hey, I go through his social media, I check up on him, I actually like to see. So I think building those genuine connections is what makes people loyal. Because think about, like you said, Jason Ellis maybe was even bigger than them at the time, but he comes to Patreon and he has listeners that are like, fuck that, I'm not gonna go. Or wait, hold on, like that, I'm not gonna go. Freaking pay for his Patreon or whatever. Like I'd rather watch shit for free. All of us were like, hey, if we have to cut SiriusXM and pay Covino and Rich directly, I feel even better because they're the only reasons why I had it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that teaches a lot of people a lot, dog. Don't just like, and even like things that I've seen in like not self-help books, but like different things about like even becoming better, like at work and all kinds of shit. If you have a meeting with somebody, dog, and you know you're going to meet with them next time, like I'll give you an example. There was a lady I used to work with. She was from ASU main campus, and I knew I would work with her. One of the first times I talked to her, she was telling me about her husband. They called him Mr. Bob, right? And so, dog, so like 6 months later, we had another meeting, and I was like, hey, Meredith or whatever her name was. And I remember her husband, dog, but I don't remember her at this point. But I was like, hey, how's Mr. Bob? And she's like, oh, she was this old black lady. She was like, you remember Mr. Bob, honey? And I was like, hell yeah, that means shit to people, that you weren't just a shadow in the night. I'm trying to make up shit, dog. I don't know.
No, it's basically, I guess in the roundabout, it was genuine. It wasn't forced or full of shit. And I think at least to CNR's defense, even as much shit as we give Rich, when you do have interactions, they're genuine, they're real, they're
Yeah.
not like fake, or they're not really superficial. So that for me, that's one of the biggest thing that kind of resonates, at least for me. But yeah, enough swinging from their wang. Real quick, I know tomorrow is April Fool's Day, and I've never been a fan of getting tricked, especially on April Fools, because like people don't know how to regulate, bro. And like when somebody scared me a long time ago, or like somebody got hurt, kind of like now, like that shit
That's not
fucking
cool. Yeah.
like skipped a beat, I was like, what the fuck? And a lot of what I do for work is related about safety and stuff. It wasn't related to someone at work, but still, like, like, what do you mean so and so, whatever? And like that person maybe took it too far, whatever, and I ended up getting kind of pissed and. Little heart jokes here and there. They don't bother me, but I always make it a point, at least for like people who are close to me, like friends or family. Like, hey, don't fuck with me like that, because like I won't appreciate it. Like, I'll let you know, like that's my boundary. Like you want to tease me and do a little prank on me while I'm here, whatever. Like, be my guest. And I'm not Mr. Sour Patch either. Like, trust me, I'm all about pranks and shit. Maybe not on April Fool's Day, just here and there. You know what I mean? But and then so I got to thinking because tomorrow is April Fool's. Like I don't. And once again, I'm not gonna go do that to somebody when I don't want it done to me, right? So I'm not planning to do anything crazy, but it got me to think about like, where the hell did that even come from, and why is it even a thing? And I guess before I read my little notes here, do you know, or does anyone in the chat, I guess, officially know, or have a
Where
guess?
April Fools came from?
Yeah, like why is it a thing and where it come from, or whatever.
I have no idea. So yeah, let us know in the chat if you guys know anything about April Fool. That's one of those things where like that's one of those questions like Covino says is a Jordan question. Where
Yes.
they're watching baseball and she's like, why do they run around the bases this way and not this way? He's like,
Real.
I don't know. I've never thought of it. She's like, haven't you played baseball for 40 years? He's like, yeah, but that's just the way it is. April Fool is another one, Doug, that I never thought about.
And so when I use the old Google machine, it's crazy because like it gave me some answers and like it didn't really even know. But I guess the biggest one out there related to that is back in the day when France adopted their Gregorian calendar, the new year back then used to start in April 1st. So when they adopted a new calendar, it started in January 1st. So the people who didn't know or catch the news or didn't give a shit saying, no, we're sticking to the old calendar.
Yeah.
It's April 1st. That's kind of how it started because it was like a fake New Year. So that was like one interpretation of it, like, oh yeah, that's the fake New Year. It's
Yeah.
April Fool's Day. That was like the general answer, I guess. And then the other one was like in ancient Rome. That's the French history. Was more of a festival, of comedy festival, right? So the Romans had jesters and magicians and all that. So theirs was more related about historians believe the day links to ancient Rome. Festivals such as Hilaria celebrated at the end of the March. And it basically started spring. It was a festival which and started symbolized the start of spring, and that was kind of their way of celebrating that and how it became to be. So I guess there really is no wrong answer, but to us nowadays it's just a way to play a joke on your homie and not get in trouble, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, right. And well, tomorrow I'm actually taking the day off of work tomorrow, so I won't be part of the uh the hijinks that are going to be going on at work. I'm sure there's going to be something, right? Um, I'm probably Doug. You know what would suck if I got a call from like my boss in the morning and she's like, "Hey,
Come to work.
yeah, right." She'll be on PTO as well, so I mean, whatever. Hopefully
Do you
not, right?
Do you have a good prank that you did or someone did to you? Because
No,
I got one.
I have the weakest one ever though.
Uh,
Doug, I was like 7 probably, right? And I was hella into the WWF at the time, right? And so I remember it was on like a Friday or Saturday or something, and it was like I just remember going and telling my dad, right? And I was like, "Hey, I was like the WWF's on right now." And he was like, "No, it's not. It's like Saturday morning or whatever, right?" And I was like, and this is because I know at one point they did have Saturday morning. This was when they only had like Raw and freaking, I think they
SmackDown.
started introducing SmackDown
Mm.
and they had Sunday Night Heat. So they didn't have Saturday morning stuff, right? So I was like, oh, and I was like, Doug, I was like, no, I was like, it's on right now. Like I'm watching it in the living room. And he was like, no, it's not. And I was like, Dad, it's on. And he was like, no, you're trying to April Fool's me. I'm not gonna. I was like, Dad! Doug, I thought I had such a good one. I'm like, I'm gonna pull this over. My dad's gonna go to USA, put it on USA, and it's gonna be La Femme Nikita. It's not gonna be WWF. I was all stoked, Doug. My dad didn't give two shits. He's like, listen, I know you're trying to play with me. I ain't ready. I ain't trying to have this bullshit. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go play Legos.
Weekies.
They were. I had to go. Yeah, serve myself a bowl of Weekies. What's your dope one that you have?
Well, I guess it happened to me. We were in high school, and back in the day, I used to enjoy the devil's lettuce. And all of a sudden, the homie showed up, and he had a fresh thing of fresh donuts. And like it was like we just showed up, and Ron was all Chinese eye, all acá bien trifucos, and he's like, "Hey, bro, I got donuts." So of course everyone just like dives in and grabs one, bro, and like every donut has something wrong with it. Like
Ah,
he, so like he had put garlic in the middle of it. He had put chili in it. Like it was just like
instead of custard filled, it had toothpaste. You know.
it was just like terrible, bro. Like he got us all, bro. Like we were all mad because like I mean we were all like happy, on a different level. Hey, what's the first thing? You just mow it down. Like I remember getting like, oh, one was garlic, bro. It was fucking terrible, bro. It was me like, ugh. And so when it happened that night, we all got pissed. And
You beat the shit
cause
out of him. He
no,
died.
we were having like drinks or whatever, and like we had chocolate for some reason, and we put X-Lax in one of them. And he
Oh,
ended up, and then the rest of the night, bro, he was just like, it was coming out the back end, bro, and like that's what you get, fucker, for trying to mess with us. But that was sad. Like at that point, we took it too far. But he got us first, and we were just sour about it, and we ended up getting his ass where he
hey,
ended up
well, good for
sitting
you
on the toilet
guys,
all night.
right?
We
Good
were
for
kids. We
you.
were kids. It was fun and okay then.
Yeah, no,
Now you
you
probably
couldn't have been kids. Maybe you're in high school, but you were like, yeah, we were drinking. So it's not like you were 5, right?
yeah.
Even though every Mexican has a
Uh,
picture of them with like a Bud Light and a cigarette when they're like 3, right?
for
Everybody's
sure.
family made them do that, right? Oh man. You know what? Actually, there's oh, there was something that I wanted to get to that Covino and Rich, or actually Covino, was actually talking about his barber, his Addy is his name. So
Hmm.
the one thing I wanted to talk about this is I was like, Doug, it's so funny because especially as long as that, we've been doing the after show, I feel like this has really helped me in even like meetings at work or even meeting new people and just having that boom 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 to keep the conversation going. And like Cavino was getting a haircut from his barber, who's a younger dude, and he was like, hey, so like, how do you think of things to talk about? And Doug, it's so funny because I'm like, when you hear that, you're kind of like, that's fucking dumb. You just talk, right? But I was like, no, actually, you know what? I remember Jonathan and I, when we started the after show, we only did like 40 episodes together, 45 at most. And I remember, Doug, it wasn't live. So it was pre-recorded. And Doug, we had some episodes that were like 20 minutes because we couldn't even fill a half hour or an hour. And Doug, and it's funny because I think about it now, we could go on forever, Doug. We could do a 6-hour broadcast live and we would be able to just keep the conversation going. And it's funny because I feel like sometimes it's like, oh well, why do you do the after show? It's not like you're making millions off of it or you're doing this or that. But I feel like, Doug, even by doing this every week, it forces you to brush up on those skills, right? So now you're in a meeting and there's a lull in the meeting, right? And you're like, oh, I got to keep this going, or I got to blah 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 blah. It trains you to do that. And I don't know, Doug, in the few months that we've been doing this together, if it's always been natural for you, cool. But for me, it's definitely something I had to get better at. So when I first heard Addie talking about, what do you think about and how do you keep it? I was like, what a fucking dumbass. You just talk. And then I was like, no, dog, think about it. Like, I remember one of the first times I met Covino and Rich in their studio when I had actually gone. And Covino was like, yeah, he's like, he's like, it's a little more difficult to fill, the time than you would think, right? And I remember being like, yeah, it actually is, because I remember at the time we were like maybe a few episodes in, and it was hard to come up with an hour of content, and or at the time, like I said, even like 30 minutes of content. So it's just crazy that you don't think that, and I don't want to say this is difficult, but it has become easier with time. So this is just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I guess for me it's an outlet
Yeah.
because I have and it benefit it's my curse and my gift. I'm really good at chatting with anybody about everything to the point where I'm like Rich David sometime where like I can just keep going and going and overtake a conversation, overtake a meeting, or even with partners where it's a little bit one-sided. So I've had to learn to like reel it back, especially for like serious conversations like, hey, I need to give you your time and a place to talk because if not, I'm just gonna keep going. people don't mind jumping in and be, hey, bro, it's my turn, right? Some people won't do. Some people, like even me and you, or whatever, Some people don't like that interaction. They want to just have their time. So to me, this has become an outlet to be able to, like, your dog. If he's hyperactive, make him run,
Take
or
him,
your
go to
kid,
the
right?
park. Take him to the park,
Put
right?
him in
Yeah.
sports and let him burn himself out. You know what I mean? And then he's, oh, now he's chilled out. So this is, to me, it's like one of those. I get to express
I
myself. I
wonder
get to use up my language so that I can turn it down a little bit
at work,
with
I
my
wonder if they've noticed,
peers
like,
and
they're like,
others.
man, Luis is a lot more chill nowadays. The last few months, dog, he's just been like, is he okay? Is the family doing
Right.
good? Because you get it
Yeah.
out here.
And like I can talk about whatever and anything, even the same thing or the same thing over and over again. I mean, I can just come from different angles and then I can just start rambling on too. So I got to make sure I've been trying to train myself for this and the world to be like, hey, give somebody else a turn, right? If nobody else is gonna say anything either, even here, I'll be like, we just can't sit here and look at each other and be
Yeah,
quiet. So I'll
yeah,
say
right.
something, you know what I mean? So someone else is going, all right, my cue to and let them talk, right? So and no, but it's part of teamwork, I think, and there's some feng shui, right? I don't think it works like that all the time with all the people. So kudos to you and me, I guess, to be able to build a little show magic here, a little
Yeah,
shameful,
no,
but.
and that's the thing is that you have to, and see, that's the thing that people don't give. I don't think people give Covino and Rich enough credit for is their 20 plus years of doing this with each other. They built that chemistry. They built that to where they know each other's kind of when they're done with the thought. And you and I, we've been doing this for a few months. I think we're decent at that. But dog, we're not gonna have like. Okay, I'll take this back to everybody knows my corny, pop shit, even though I'm wearing a corn shirt. Dog, like on Making the Band, right? When they were putting together O-Town, there was a one episode where they were like, the Backstreet Boys have been together 7 years, right? And this was in like 90, whatever. The Backstreet Boys got together on April 20th of 93. So do the math there. So they were like, you guys aren't going to get that in 7 months. You're not going to get it, but you may get it sooner than later. And for us, it's like, dog, Covino and Rich been doing this not only 20 plus years, 4 to 5 times a week for 20 plus years. So, dog, so us doing this, you and I, a few months of one show a week, dog, we're at month 2 of Covino and Rich doing shows together. You know what I'm saying? So like
For real.
people don't, and like they said today, they're like, dog, they're like, people do a podcast once a week. They're doing 4 episodes a week on Patreon of 2.5 hours, basically
Live.
live, and they do Fox Sports for 2 hours, same day, 5 days a week. So they have 9 shows a week of however many hours that is, almost 5 hours a day that they have to fill of talk. Hey, Doug, that is just getting those reps in. That's how, Doug, like if you have somebody, you're like, oh yeah, I do jujitsu. What are you? Oh, I'm a white belt. How long have you been doing it? 6 years. Well, it's because I go once every 6 months. Oh, but you have a person who's been going, dog, every day, 365 days a year for the last 2 years, and they're a black belt. You're like, how did they do that? They're getting their reps in, dog. They're doing it every day, multiple times a day. And for them at this point, and like you had mentioned earlier today, you're like, I don't want to be the Rich Davis, I want to show up prepared. And that's the thing is that it's easier, I'm sure, for them to come, and even if they're not prepared, but the fact that they do come prepared, Spot making the transitions, Covino coming with topics, Rich showing up, they still put effort into it, and that's just, dog, they're just going to keep getting better and better. So if you guys see them, I mean, they've already been on ESPN, but if you see them, on, correspondence at the White House, you'll know why, dog. They got their reps in. Dang. So Andrew Sims said they do 22 to 25 hours of content together every week. Can you imagine that, dog? Every week.
And I tried to catch all their shows. There is some repetition, but not as much as you would think, right? And so that's the crazy part too. It's like, oh, they say the same shit on every show, because they're really kind of different shows. Like this one, the Patreon is free for all. Say and do whatever you want. And then the Fox Sports is obviously more sports related, but with their vato, with the more of a dude twist to it. And then they got the after show a bit later. And then Rich still does another podcast by himself. And then obviously their stuff they do for Sirius. So there's a
And
lot of
Covino has all the History Channel shit where he
Yeah,
has to
so
talk about other shit.
it's crazy, man. It just shows, we need to get off their wang here again. But kudos to them. They've been doing it for a long time. They're doing it very
Doug,
well.
this is a 1,000
It-
episode celebration. I think, you know what? We can.
But yeah, man, shit, we're already up against the time already again.
Yeah,
Just a
we
little-
are.
Just like we were talking about.
Right. But anyway, the after show, but later, we have plenty more. We have next week. We have a surprise for you next week. And by surprise, I mean, it's not going to be our typical shit. So anyway, I've already said too much. But anyway, Luis, we have, I know we have a hard out right now. So, is there anything that you want to wrap up in the next, couple of minutes?
No, man, just want to say appreciate everyone in the chat. Thanks for having me again, bro. It's been a blast. The way this started, it was just kind of natural, and then it just kind of progressed to where we're at. And once again, celebrate Covino and Rich and Spot too, right? I mean, it's Covino and Rich, but Spot does a lot of the back end too. Those guys do a hell of a job, and hats off to them on their journey they've come, and for all of us who've been with them from episode one and even before, right? I appreciate you guys, and I'll have some stories and stuff when I come back from Europe and some pictures, and we can talk about
Yeah.
it. But
Episode
Go Dodgers.
335, he's going to have plenty of stories from Europe. So make sure you tune in to episode 335 live. It'll be on a Tuesday like we are. We're here every Tuesday. Thank you, Morton. Morton knows actually says, first time checking you guys out, and you guys are funny. So appreciate you, Double M, Andrew, Lisa, all the regulars. Magical Mexican didn't make it live for this one, but you know what? I have a Magical Mexican you guys might hear. A Magical Mexican story that you guys might hear in episode number 334. So don't miss that. The after show, but later, it's your boys D. It's Luis Cortez Jr. Which way are you on the screen? That right there. We will see you guys in the next episode. Peace. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Oh, man. Damn it. That was so dope. I thought I was cool. I thought I was the after show, but let's do this again. All right. The after show, but later. It's your boys D. Luis Cortez Jr. Episode number 333. We will see you guys in the next episode.
On the road to the riches, cause it's all about the paper. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul, grab a spliff and start burning. Relax with us and take a trip to the heavens. And come and spend a day in the 757.